Talofa, everyone. I believe we are live on YouTube right now. Thought I'd come on and do a quick yap session just because I didn't do one last week. And your girl is just continuously um, trying to make sure that she creates more presence on here. So thank you for the encouragement to the one comment that I had from our last yap. I love her. If you haven't checked her out, she is a Sunga with Spice. She is creates really beautiful candles out in NorCal. And if you haven't checked her out, you've got to because she creates some unique ones. I'm overdue for a candle. So lots happening. I haven't posted an episode. I have a few things happening. Um, I've been concentrating a lot on my creating the LLC, creating the business itself, creating the website. That's really where I've been focusing on. So all this time it's been a passion project with Dear Suga, and I've been contemplating whether I should create it as a 501c3 or a nonprofit or create it as a business. And so I decided to go under the as a business, and I know an LLC is just kind of like you didn't need to do an LLC, and I didn't have to do an LLC. But the thing is, I just think of the future of where I want to take Dear Sunga, and so that's why I thought, why don't I just do it now? And doing this, you know, I use a lot of AI, so but I'm always careful with what I find on AI. Like, don't believe everything AI gives you. You have to like challenge it until it really kind of knows you. And that's what I've sort of done. So I have been looking to figure out how I should file the LLC. Of course, I can go, and do it myself. However, I found out that it's better. It's actually I don't want to go back and forth, make any mistakes, and so I decided to go with third party to get it done. So if you're interested in creating an LLC, I would highly recommend the one that I use. It is fraction of a price compared to one that is very prominent out there. I'm not going to say any names because I got to be cautious about these things. But if you're interested, let me know. And they just got it done real quick. Um, so I'm excited for that. That's that's been that's on its way. It's being done. I actually created the LLC under my Samoan name, and so I've wanted something that I knew that I could expand. And Dear Sunga is just going to be a part of whatever the grand vision will be, and unsure where it starts. But yeah, as if you didn't know, I started Dear Sunga just because you know um, it was for professional development, and part of me was kind of challenging myself because I've always been great at I'm not gonna say I'm so great at it, but I'm not a great person to be I hate small talk. Small talk is not my thing. I feel like when someone tells me, "How was your day?" It's like you're just it's fillers instead of really asking about something more meaningful. And so I've never been great with small talk or hate when I have to do small talk with people. I'm just like, get to the point. What is it that you really want? But I think sometimes it can be direct like that, and that's why I'm very um, so when I create my questions for Dear Sunga, I try to kind of avoid those because I hate when someone asks me those questions, you know? I was watching Mel Robbins the other day, and she came up with one of the guests had said one of the most interesting ways of questions I mean, a question you can ask is, "How do you like your potatoes?" And then and I thought that was a great conversation because it wasn't, like, any pressure, it was just kind of like, I don't know, because if I was given that question on the spot, I'd be like, "There's different ways that I love a potato," and then I'll just probably in my head be like, "What is the best way I can think of like eating my potatoes. Sometimes I like to just boil it and be happy with it. And then of course there's like these new ones where you can double bake it and different ways with the skin or without the skin. So I think that's pretty cool. I do like it with the skin, but I actually wash it really well. Okay. I don't just get it from the store. I just like wash it down really well and have some skin on there. Um Wow. That was not how I wanted to start it. But again, this is a yap session. So I decided to call it Yaps Under the Breadfruit Tree because, ooh, maybe I can show you the website because I thought I did a great job with that. So, along with the business, I actually spent a lot of time this week trying to create my website. this whole time since last December, I actually bought the domain and told myself, okay, I'm going to create the website. And yeah, it was a struggle. I couldn't do it. But as I'm learning things, I learned that you can actually, with, how I'll give you my secret, and it's using Claude. I use Claude Cowork to help me with my website. So I'm actually kind of proud of it. It's still a work in progress, but it is a whole lot better than what I did. So I'm happy to show you. Okay, let me figure out how we're gonna do this. Na, 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 na. That was not how I expected it to go, but again, it's just what's coming to my mind, and we're just gonna yap about it because that's what it is, a yap session. Mm, let's see here, maybe this one. And then share screen. Here it is. And boom. What do y'all think? I'm actually pretty proud of myself. Well, thank you to Claude. It was painful, but it was able to get done. And so um it's something feel like just so that people can see it. Like the story behind it. And so I still a lot to do with the homepage. There's my vision is to have the about me section, which I don't like what is on here right now, but we're just gonna leave it be. But then I wanted to create a calendar so people can see what events were happening. And so here's one of the things: Kiribati had their Independence Day on the 12th. So happy Independence Day to Kiribati. Even the Solomon Islands on Tuesday. Isn't it crazy what's happening in the Solomon Islands? We will definitely come back to that because of this whole China missile thing that's been happening. I'm telling you, like the Pacific is so tied to geopolitics. And then this week also is Manua Session Day. It's Manua Flag Day in American Samoa. So if you're not aware and haven't seen my episode with Sabrina about deep sea mining, that's something that's also happening in the Pacific. And they have a stand for the Moana. Um, event that's happening on Thursday the 16th. I'm still trying to figure out a way that I can like pitch in even though I'm far away and not there. But you know, if you're in Orange County, if you're in California and want to get together to kind of do something, please let me know. But anyways, so that's part of it. So let me go up. So I have my about me session, section, about me section, the her stories, the mat, support, and contact. I'm so proud of it, but it really was a pain. So the about me section kind of gives you idea of who I am. So I hope you can check it out. I wanted to put it more because now that I've formed a business, I definitely want to look into more sponsorship and some partnerships. So just like creating something where people can see. And, if you're interested, I'd love to collaborate and find ways. As you know, I'm all about creating like women's network, a space for women to just kind of connect. And that's exactly what this is. It's hopefully something we can expand. It's currently a digital space, especially with the podcast, but my hope is that I can grow it into something where we can have women's circles and where you can all kind of connect. Because sometimes what I find is that people can be in their own industry, but it's also good not only just to get a different viewpoint from another person in another industry and someone who's going through a journey that is probably a little bit different from yours, and share your ideas on where your business is or where you are professionally, and get some insights, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That there's people here that probably around you that already have an idea of what's going on. And sometimes we're not really surrounded by that consistently, and this would be a way. And that's how that's what I'm hoping for Dear Suga. So this section is more that it's just an about me section and a way to kind of help with sponsorship. Then I have this section, which is the mat. Whoop, we are currently at Yaps Under the Breadfruit Tree, Lalia. And hopefully we we get a chance. I mean, right now I have my last YAP sessions. I'm hoping to write some articles here. So it's basically what my vlogs are behind the scenes. And you're wondering why I put it Yaps Under the Breadfruit Tree, because I think of me going back home and sometimes, or under the ulu tree. We call it the ulu tree, or the nonu, or the pulu tree. But I thought the breadfruit, because you can find breadfruit in most of the Pacific Islands except for, I think, New Zealand, because just of the climate. But it was the closest. And you sit there with your mat, and we call it in Samoa fufola lifala. So you're laying out the mat so you can sit there and talk stories. So that's what it is. And then, of course, support, something that I'm going to have to get used to. But like I said, Dear Suga has been a passion project this whole time, and now it's going to turn into a opportunity. So if you have been enjoying the episodes and wanted to support, just to be sure that we move forward, I am nervous excited. There's a lot of nervous excitement about this, because I thought a lot about where my energy goes. And I wasn't happy with my previous job. It wasn't anything they did. They really tried. I was going through my own personal like grieving, and I felt so disconnected. And so when I started the podcast, it was initially to help with the way that I converse with people. Like, I'm one of those people when I was at work, say, I don't want to talk to you. I'm just here to get my work done and leave. And when um, it wasn't that, I guess it was, it just felt so different. It was different for me. So, um, I'm, I took some time to really think about it, and made a decision to go forward with the LLC after a couple of months now. And I'm honestly scared. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to continuously try and do it, because I know somewhere in my heart that this is something I want to do. I've always been interested in women's issues. And so it's something that's always been with me since I was young, and something that continues to carry me through, and where I find a lot of passion and a lot of energy. So hence the reason for it. So if you're out there and you like the episodes, I'd love to have it come through. Um, so I've and setting this up was another thing. Okay, I thought this was just an easy thing. So when you click on support Dear Suga, it actually takes you. So I had to set up now that I have my LLC, I have an EIN, and I created a bank account and all that stuff. Now you can come here. Ooh, my card information might not. Yeah, I'll find a way to block that. But anyways, that's where that is, and we're gonna go back. Anyways, and then you can also go through PayPal, and you can send it through PayPal. I should find a way to open it in an incognito window. How about that? And I have no idea if you're going to be able to see that. So let me just find another way. Share different screen. And it takes you here. Share screen. Ta-da! Then it takes you to this page here. So created it, very simple. Oh my gosh. I gotta be cognizant of what's on my live. Okay, we're moving on. This is impromptu here. So for the 20 plus people who've been able to sit back and watch this, thank you. Because I know it's mostly my close friends and family, and those who have started to get to know me. That's what I figured this is going to be. Getting back to the site and where I am. There we go. All right. So that, I hope I didn't show that, but oh well. PayPal works, Stripe works, and I use Stripe, and everything I just did has been through AI. It's been a lot of back and forth. I definitely paid the premium price for Claude Cowork to make it happen. And if you're ever interested and want to learn how, and you feel like, hey, that's curious, I didn't know how you could do that, please let me know. I am learning AI all at the same time. So it's been fun. And I know that if I had to do this myself, it would cost me tons of money, but it was lots of energy. It's not like I just gave it to AI and AI created. Of course, it's just going to create something basic. But there were just a few things that I wanted to add here and there. And another tip for you, if you are in this journey of trying to learn I use both. Like I'll take a prompt from ChatGPT, put it into Claude, and tell Claude, what do you think of this? And then Claude replies, and Claude and ChatGPT talk. Like that's how I've set my AI up, is that they're talking to each other. They're not, I wish that there was a way that they could just talk to each other, but it's basically me being the vessel to take it to ChatGPT and then take it to Claude and plug it in to make sure it's right. So that when I finally look at it, I'm less frustrated about the output. But I have to be honest, there are things that really bug me. But yes, then sometimes when I can't get enough, there's perplexity. So that's the other mix that I put in there. So I'm learning a lot, and I'm always very careful of what I use. So I think Claude's pretty good. So if you have any questions and want to learn about AI and what my experience, I'm happy to share more of my experience if you want to. Ah, yes. I'm getting really good at my yaps. I don't know if I am or not, but I like to think I am. Okay, let's go back to our screen. So, other than that, today was a bit of a long day. Other than having my LLC formed and the website formed, I've also, like, I'm kind of like going quick because it's been ruminating in my head for quite some time. I've met with SCORE. I found some resources. I had initially reached out to the SBA just to kind of get what other resources are out there for me. And they just kind of pointed me to the women's business centers, like every county has one, and SCORE, which is also, it's like a nonprofit organization that actually gives you free business coaching. I never knew that existed. And I just spent today, which was very good because I am a person that can plan things out, but it's always good to have, as much as AI is great, there is a human component in there and an expertise level that you won't really get from AI, because if you don't know what you're doing with AI, it's not going to spit out the right thing for you. So it was really nice to bounce ideas and some cool things that I learned from the Women Business Center. Um, so the approach that I'm taking is because I've been wanting to look into grants and to look at and sponsorship. And so I've been trying to figure out how I was going to do that, how I was going to approach it. And so I reached out to SCORE, SCORE. So there's a chapter here in my county, but you could find it nationwide. And they have really cool webinars about, like, I signed up for one with AI and your social media, another one with SEO and TikTok. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm trying to challenge myself to post a little bit more, just because I don't know about you, but I was telling the coach today that I actually met with two, one with SCORE and one with the Women Business Center. And I was like, I love this. I don't have to pay for it. I mean, you are definitely going to get your money's worth if you need if to work with a coach that's going to keep you accountable. But this is actually really good. Like SCORE's like, if you need me, you just tell me when you're going to need me and just put it on the calendar. I was like, really? So I think it's important for you to find your right resources. And just like a therapist, you always have to find one that matches your personality and what you do. I've been to some therapists who are really good, but I ended up not going because we just didn't jive well. We didn't get along really well. Did I say chive or jive? Mga nga. Sometimes I get tongue twisted and my words fumble. I get to fumble a lot. So this is the thing with me. I have so much in my head that I have to remind myself. So I actually make notes so then I don't get lost. But somehow I still kind of get lost. So check out the SBA resources. SBA was really great just to pinpoint me to where they go and goes like, oh, we have great loans. I was like, no, I am doing my best not to take a loan anytime soon. I just want to see what resources are out there, figure out what I need to do. And then we have like the Women Business Center, they were great. And then if you are interested, one of the grants that I started looking into is the Amber Grant, and they give that out every month. And I'm like, wow, they have to give out three different grants and they're about $10,000 each. And I guess one is like per month, they have a specific, it's like industry focus. Another one is about startup. I forget what the other one's about. So you have like different opportunities to actually win a grant, like money. And it's like 10,000 each, which is crazy. But I'm grateful for that. But as just because it's free money, that there's going to be lots of people out there also applying. So I'm curious to know how I can do better with that. So if you if you're a woman out there and you want to apply together, I would love to do like a grant and just kind of learn to see and bounce ideas off of each other and just like, what did you think of this? What did you think of that? Yeah, so I'm excited to try again. I did try, but I think it was me like, I want to create my LLC. And then I was like, going back and looking, I was like, man, that's something I can do myself. So I definitely want to do like an in-person um, gathering because I feel like there's so much we could learn. And as much as I love digital spaces, one thing I like about TikTok is the TikTok panels where you can actually have people come up and have conversations with you. It's not something you can do here right now on YouTube. I also heard that YouTube has this new feature called Show. And apparently, because I don't have that many subscribers yet, I don't think I have access to it. But which reminds me, don't forget to subscribe. I need subscribers. And so if I haven't made that clear to anyone during my episodes, I am letting you know on my Yap how much this girl is trying her best. And it doesn't cost anything. All you do is just click on the button and bang, you subscribe. I do appreciate it because through the analytics, it's showing that the people that actually subscribe actually stay on the platform. So I'm so grateful for you all, especially those that definitely take the time to just listen to me yap or like have a conversation with another woman. But I really try to create conversation that's not just, it's learning from someone else and their experience, but it's also us learning together. Like the Solomon Islands, like my last episode with Elsie was very educational. I think I learned so much from it myself. Sometimes we look at an island and just be like, oh, well, that's Melanesia. But what else do you know about the Solomon Islands? You know? So those are kind of things that I hope to bring more so that you can leave going, "Ooh, I learned something new." And I actually feel good. I can actually relate to what she's saying. That's what I'm hoping my audience leaves with. And if you like what you do, like just let me know what kind of episode, or feel free to introduce me to a woman that you feel like her story needs to be heard. Wow, I feel so good that I actually said all that without stuttering. Anyways, um, the other thing I've been doing lately is trying to get back on track with my health. I have gained so much weight, it's ridiculous. And it's because, I've my living circumstances have been a little different, but now that I have gotten myself back, I'm trying to eat properly. Oh, one of my favorite salads, which I will share in one of my mini vlogs and um, my social media, is a watermelon salad. Oh my gosh. Watermelon, your microgreens, arugula, and spinach is my thing. And then I like to add pistachios in there. And the key to and I had some cucumbers and burrata. burrata cheese. You can have feta, but there's something about burrata that I really like, which is like the outside looks, I mean, it looks like a mozzarella, but the inside kind of tastes like a cottage cheese in a way. And so, you cut it up and then you just, and it looks so beautiful after it's done. And then you put on that balsamic glaze, not the vinaigrette, but the glaze on there. Oh, it is so good. Um, so that's my go-to summer salad that I've really been enjoying. I'm trying my best. So, anyone who knows me knows I love a good ice cream. I haven't gotten myself an ice cream maker because I'm too scared. I'm always going to make ice cream. Anyways, I'm trying my best not to crave ice cream. I'm planning to do a Daniel fast, and in the past, I've done a Daniel fast before. I am a Christian, so I try to do like a little Daniel fast here and there. But I remember the past, I would have a Daniel fast and I lean more to what am I going to eat today? What kind of meal am I going to do? So I'm trying to not let myself go into that space and try to concentrate more on what my prayers should be. So I'm trying to like ease my way into it. It's not been easy, but it's all right. I'm okay. And one of the other things I love, I have a horrible sweet tooth. Like I am drinking coffee today because I had a long day today and I'm supposed to have an interview that was supposed to happen at 2 o'clock. And that's why I decided to do a live. Now I'm going to sip on my coffee because I have an interview at 9 o'clock tonight. The thing about these type of, I think, especially if you're in the islands, I have to kind of work with the schedule people have. And so, yeah, and I'm not a coffee person, but I am having coffee right now. And maybe that's why I am so, I don't know. Sometimes coffee has this opposite effect on me. Sometimes I'm just like, it makes me so tired, but I'm just having black coffee. It's crazy because I can't drink coffee. I like coffee, but I actually like it. Right now, I just like it without any sugar. I drink tea without sugar. I drink coffee without sugar. But I have coffee that I bought from Hawaii. So Kona coffee is my thing, with like the toasted macadamia or toasted coconut. So good. Anyways, what were we talking about? We were talking about food. Yes. And so the other thing I like to eat that's sweet, apples. Apples with peanut butter, and then you sprinkle on some raisins. I love raisins. And some sunflower seeds and some pumpkin seeds on there. So good. Real good. And if you tried it and you're like, that's nasty, then let me know because I think it's the best thing I've ever made. It's my go to. I really don't eat apples all the time, but that is the best way to eat apples. All right. So lots of things happening. That's what's going on in my world. I have not been editing just because I've been so focused in on the website. People don't realize the work that you have to put in to make something to put something out. Like I have to reach out and find me some guests, and I think I'm okay with it. And I realize how all my different skills have come to this point. I've been in sales, and at first it was so hard when people rejected you. And I was in insurance, and I'm telling you, strangers are better at like accepting advice from you than your own family and friends. But here's the thing about insurance. I had another student reach out to me this week and say, hey, do you want to can you help me with my, I think she was trying to reach her quota, and I couldn't help her just because I have an insurance license that is still active. I hope. Yes, it is. And so I don't sell insurance anymore, but I do think it's a good thing to keep just because when someone like one of the reasons I got into insurance is because my dad's policy had always lapsed and eventually he didn't get the policy. And things that I would have changed when if I knew better. So if you're in a situation where you're getting these letters and trying to understand your policy, like feel free to reach out. I am happy to help out in any way, no cost at all. Just kind of using the skills that obtain to just kind of help you. And sometimes I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, you know, you don't have to you can come to us because we work with so many carriers." I hate to break it to you, but all the top carriers out there will have some way that the best advisors will also be contracted with other carriers as well. So it's not so much, I think the company matters, because I've worked in space. The company I last worked with, I think, has been a good company. I'm not here to promote any of that, but when I worked initially, our way of getting to connect with and get clients was reviewing their policies. And the company that I worked for, after like the only one that I decided that, okay, I definitely want to go there because it's one of the policies that was actually a really good policy in the long term. So yes, pivoting away from that, but I'm always caught like, I know there's lots of people selling life insurance, especially within our community, just because, you know, especially our generation are well familiar with the burdens of a fala vilave, or when there's a funeral, community come together to actually make things happen. Um, but I'm also weary, just because, especially when you're older, it's going to cost a whole lot more to have insurance. And I don't think people understand that. So it's actually, I don't want to say better. It's good to have something at least, but you also have to factor in how much you're going to be paying in to these policies. Um, so yeah. Anyways, we were going off of a tangent. We were talking about my health, and then about the LLC. So that's the exciting stuff that's happening for like currently within my world. And I've been checking out social media, lots of great things happening. I mean, today I was just on and I saw Drew Afualo. I absolutely love her. Like both her and her sister, the idiots, two girl, two girl. Oh, I listen to their podcast. And it's actually one of the reasons why I feel like I'm okay to do these yap sessions, because I look at their podcast and they're just like, talking about anything and everything. I'm sure they have a ways. I mean, they've been doing it for quite some time, but it's so encouraging because they're just kind of there, just being real and just talking about anything and everything. So I thought that was really good. Yes, two Idiot Girls podcasts. I love them. They're really good. So it's really nice. And I think this is the second time for Drew to actually be on Time magazine. She's also on Forbes. Like, come on. That woman, she is doing it all. And she's a UH Manoa graduate. Whoop whoop. So, lots happening. Even Moana, the live action movie, is out. I have yet to go watch it, but I it's been all over my feed, and it's so beautiful to see it all just unfold. So I'm excited. I'm just kind of letting it. I'm not a person that likes going to the theaters, to the movies, but for Moana, I probably will make a trip to go out to the movie theaters. I'm more of a performing artist. I love watching performing artists, but when it comes to movies, I don't know. It's hard for me, but I definitely feel like it's worth going to a movie and watch it. Everyone just said, "Oh, it was so good," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, can't wait to go watch it." I think they're having like a inspired by album with Pacific artists that's coming out on July 31st. So that's kind of cool to actually see. Also, what I've been seeing, like just popping on my feed, is all the pageants. I don't know if it's because I've been liking a lot of pageant stuff like Miss Tonga, um, Siosiana. Looks like she seemed, wow, like I from the start you could tell she was doing really great and she really stood out. But for me, I also have to say I love Miss Ewa. She is an amazing woman. Like, who is she? Like, where is she? Because I wouldn't mind having her on my podcast. Just the vibe, just her just being herself and just like enjoying it. Like, I think it's good to have that. Um, I saw Miss Tuvalu. Um, they also have a pageant, Miss Marshall Islands. I think Farah Nell Mueller, she was crowned. So that's really cool. Congratulations to her. I think Miss Marshall Islands, they haven't had it for a bit, I think, because um, the the outgoing Miss Marshall Islands, I think, was the same one who competed when Moana won. Um, so that was what, 2024? So that's pretty long. So it's kind of cool to see that. Um, Deep sea mining is happening. August is just around the corner. So if you have not or just come across my yaps and the next thing you want to watch and you want to learn something, especially like deep sea mining and what's happening, then check out my episode with Sabrina. Sabrina also has a campaign out right now, Stand with the Moana, which is going to be on July 16, which is also Manua Flag Day. I think I mentioned that earlier. So, it's kind of hard because it is going to be in American Samoa. But again, if you're out here trying to figure out how you can get involved, I'm happy to kind of partner and do something. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I was thinking I could just probably create a sign or do a reel of what's happening. Mm, let's see what else is happening out there. Yeah, I think the one that's been hard for me to kind of learn about is this China missile. Oh, yes. And this talking about the ocean, and this just within this week or so, there's been like the gray whales, Pacific gray whales washing up on shore. I think what they've actually the count is like about 145 found dead on the west coast. Here, let me pull the the episode up because it is really sad for me to see it out here in California too. And it's because, see, I have to get used to this. Oh, fair o yeah. There we go. Gosh. Paste. Go. One day I will have someone who is going to be behind the scenes creating all of this, be like, show me this. And they pull it up already. This is it. So nearly 150 whales have been found along North America's Pacific shore this year, prompting scientists to sound the alarm. Yeah, it's people don't realize how much happens in the Pacific. And it's painful because, it's due to like they're starving. It's starvation. Climate change is like collapsing the Arctic food chain, the food supply. So it doesn't, I mean, with everything that's happening, I know I love the idea of Disney Moana coming out, but I also hope that it creates opportunity to learn a lot about what's happening in the Pacific. And so to me, this is such a sad article to come across. And I hope, I mean, I think about the fishing industry, the uh, and then they're talking about like going into the zones to actually, these protected areas for them to go fish. And I'm like, that's not, that doesn't help at all. What else is happening in the Pacific? Um, yes, Tonga ratifying the nuclear ban, like ratified the nuclear test ban treaty. That was July 7. It's kind of interesting because I thought they've already done this, but apparently, I mean, it's been 30 years. It's crazy how they just signed it. But it's better now than never, right? Yeah, the other states that haven't ratified, the US, why am I not surprised? China, not surprised. Russia, India, Pakistan, North Korea, Israel, Iran, and Egypt. See what I mean? Every Pacific Island nation has now said yes to the nuclear power powers haven't. Crazy. Now this whole thing with the Solomon Islands, it's crazy. China's test fire a nuclear capable missile that was like 1,000 kilometers northeast of Solomon Islands last week with only hours of warning. Only hours of warning. It just makes me sad, just all this stuff happening and them deciding to fly whatever missiles they have. And not only that, like if you don't know, and I mean, that's something we kind of discussed a little bit in the episode with Elsie, is, Guadalcanal is one of the provinces of the Solomon Islands. And the way I had always known the Guadalcanal is because of the Guadalcanal War between Japan and the US. And the crazy thing is, that was like, when was that? Gosh, 1942, 1943. And still today, people are dying because there's so many missiles in the soil, in the area. And there's a documentary that's actually coming out. I don't know when it comes out in the US. I don't know why this is, but I feel like New Zealand and Australia is just like has a plethora of great Pacific resources. But here in the US, even though there's so many Pacific Islanders in the US, we don't get that same opportunity. And so wish we could. And I think that's what I want to work at and try and like do my best to kind of help. There's so many of the great content and great people out there, but I just am curious why it's not so prominent. Pacific Island like history isn't as prominent, but anyways, there's a documentary that comes out where basically a few people have died because these missiles are still found in people's backyards, and it's it's not great. Okay, I think I've yapped too much already, but that's basically what's been happening. And I think I'll do more yaps if people want to, but I thought I'd share just a few things that stood out for me in the news lately and just give you an update as to what's happening with Dear Suga. Um, I, if you're new here, I guess it's also because my channel is still its infant stage, I like to say, even though it's been a year. But I'm recognizing things that I need to do and the things because, for example, posting. I hate having to post every single time. Every time I come across them, I was like, that feels like the same content that person posted last time. I can't, like, it gets annoying. I try not to be the annoying person. But yes, I know that that's what I'll need to do to grow. And so that's what I plan to do. So again, thanks again for taking the time. Wow, 43 minutes of me talking. Wow, I can really yap away. Yeah. So I'm gonna say thank you again to everyone who's taking their time to watch this. I plan to actually have an episode with an amazing group women. Um, Pacific Island Festival of San Diego, one of the largest in the country, is going to be happening soon. Excited to have some of the board member there who can talk a little bit about PIFA and the mission behind it, and excited to kind of check it out when it comes through. So if you know anything that's happening in the community, please let me know. I know that I'm just a one woman trying to do everything here, but it's always great if I can hear from you of some of the wonderful things that are out there that I probably am missing out on. So please feel free to share what you do know. So again, Thanks again for taking the time to connect here on Dear Suga. I hope you all have an amazing week and look forward to connecting further with a few more yaps with all my Alofa and Mana, Saifua, and take care.